And lots of history at stake also for OHA, Macca. They haven't won a grand final since 1977.
Well, it's just it's amazing how OHA, they'll be so hungry for today's win in the premiership that you can't imagine that Sam McCambridge isn't going to throw himself at absolutely everything today.
If you were the coach of OHA, how would you go about stopping Jeff Cock? Because he has been absolutely crucial to Derwent's success this season with 46 goals.
Well, I'm not sure that you can go out and just try and say to yourself that we're going to focus just on one player, because when you look at Derwent, they've got depth all through the lines. They've got Nick Tremaine, they've got Tim Deven, they've got Nathan Fitzpatrick in the net as well. Goalkeepers are very important tools when it comes to finals. We've seen that already in some of the finals that we've covered. So I think that really what they'll do is they'll give him close attention, and they might have to do something different on penalty corners when it is that they see that Jeffrey Cox there getting ready to flick him at him.
Time to take a look at the respective teams, and there is the Derwent lineup. Jeff Cox going to be mentioned plenty today, and you've just mentioned all the others. It's such a good team, Macca. You have to be a good team to win that many premierships.
Well, you do, and I think that someone like Paul Anker, we shouldn't forget that he's a playing coach, and so a lot of responsibility for him. It's a challenge for him because he's all of a sudden he's coaching his peers, and people probably would have predicted that they were going to win today's premiership, but I'm not sure that he is that confident. He had to work really hard with the players.
The other interesting point to make today is that Daniel Sproul, one of the greatest players we've ever produced, has never won a local grand final. He's the coach of OHA.
Well, that's amazing, and I think Daniel Sproul, a dual Olympian. He's got players like McCambridge, who I love watching him play. He just throws himself at everything. David Wolford, well, he's a bit of a hothead as well. I like the hotheads, and so it should be a real contest today.
Well, I think Angie Ockenden's calmed down after the Northwest celebrations. What a game it was in the women's. We'll get down to Angie Ockenden for a little bit of analysis on what she thinks will happen in the men's game.
Yes, look, that game certainly lived up to all expectations, and I'm sure this one is going to too. It's a balmy 18 degrees. The wind is still sort of about, but it's not going to affect these players at all. It's just a fantastic day for hockey. The crowds are in. OHA have a huge support group here. As you said, it's been such a long time since they've won a final or even contested a final. So the pressure really is on Derwent. They're the favourites. As you said, Macca, they have every line covered. They have a brilliant lineup, really. And Tim Deven, he's got to be the focus. He is such a freak, and he is such a game breaker. He can win on the tip of his own stick. But you've got likes of Tremaine and Cock and Middleton and all across the board. And of course, don't forget Nathan Fitzpatrick in goals, who's a great goalkeeper. OHA are very confident. I had a chat with them last week and throughout the week, and they think they've done their homework on Derwent. They feel that they've got the youth and the enthusiasm, and they feel that they've got the impetus to beat Derwent today. I can't see it really. I just can't see that they are going to be able to break down the players that Derwent have got. But I think whatever happens, it's going to be a really fast, furious game, especially the first 20 minutes. So I'm really looking forward to it, as is this crowd here today. There's a great deal of excitement around the ground.
Let's hope it's as good as the women's, Angie, that's for sure. And OHA's form against Derwent hasn't been too bad this season. They've met 5 times. Derwent's won 3 games, OHA 1, and they've had 1 draw. Their most recent meeting was in the semi when Derwent had a comfortable 4-1 win. And Jeff Cock, the man who's going to start things off for Derwent this afternoon, he scored a hat-trick that day. And he's done that on 8 occasions, 3 goals or more on 8 occasions for Jeff Cock this season. OHA cannot allow that to happen this afternoon. So the men's grand final on ABC Grandstand. Derwent going for 4 in a row, and Jeff Cock gets them underway. Tremaine with the overhead, and it'll be a Derwent, well, it'll be an OHA ball out of defence. And Dylan Saltz in possession. He tries an overhead of his own, only as far as Shaw. Austin wants Tremaine, who works it in. Anchors there for Derwent.
Ooh, big tackle there from Paul Anker from behind. Umpires today very experienced, Alistair. Stuart Belts and Sean Carey.
And Nick Leslie, the German, unable to get onto that one. Here's the replay, Macca.
Well, yeah, just a tackle from behind, and Paul Anker will have to be a little bit careful there.
So Derwent in possession. Well read by Morton.
That's an important role for Jake Morton. He needs to be in front and really paying close attention to Jeffrey Cock. You could see how close he was there, right on his shoulder as he received the ball.
West cuts in, working his way forward. Edwards, cut out though by Jeff Cock. And Derwent will win the free here.
Well done.
Off they go. Middleton. Sproul in the way of it.
Well, we saw Tim Deaven just then. I mean, he took that free hit so quickly. Players were still watching to see where the ball was placed, and he'd accelerated. He'd already made 5 yards. It's a real trend of his game.
Here's Webb. So Derwent trying to mount something here. Sproul gets himself involved. Shaw still in possession, working really hard. And they do get a penalty corner here, Derwent.
Daniel Sproul was quick to get out to Billy Shaw to make that tackle, and there's the body contact there initially. I'm not sure that was the penalty corner reason, but then he gets in here and Billy Shaw's still able to protect the ball. And I think in the end it made contact with the foot of Daniel Sproul. So here's the first real test for Aaron Williams. He's going to have Jeffrey Cock more than likely flinging the ball at him at around about 110 kilometres per hour. This is going to be a really important test for him.
So it's Nick Tremaine to fling in, and there is Tim Deaven waiting. Tremaine with a grin on his face. Looks happy to be here. A pivotal player for Derwent. And the crowd urging Jeff Cock on. Here he is, up he steps to score the first. It's saved. Still alive here for Derwent. Shot taken. And OHA survives. It's Torrin Bester taking the shot.
Work there from Paul Anker, bringing the ball out of the dead zones.
Webb. Addison. Deaven. Look out OHA if he gets going today.
Here's the replay of the penalty corner, and we can just see the first flick there from Jeffrey Cock. And who's the first one to it? It's Tim Deaven. And then we've got Paul Anker trying to get the shot away on his reverse. But again, Aaron Williams up to it, and he really came out and closed down the angle and forced the rebound out wide. So you could almost say that Aaron Williams would be a little bit more relieved now. He's got the first one out of the way.
Morton restarts. West and Wolford. David Wolford will be hoping for a big game this afternoon. He's scored in 3 games against Derwent this season. Salt works his way to halfway for West. The Cambridge lurking, but Webb gets there first.
Alistair, I've got no doubt that Coach Daniel Sproul would have been working really hard to put as much pressure as they possibly can on Stuart Webb. You can see just off screen at the moment, Sam McCambridge and Stuart Webb just having a little bit of a contact, bit of shoulder-to-shoulder body contact.
Daniel Sproul looks up, charges forward. It'll be an OHA ball outside the circle. And his second year as coach, Daniel Sproul, after crossing from Northwest. Edwards sends it in. Where's the follow-up work? Cleared out by Webb. Sent back in by West. Addison's got to clear this time.
Well, Angus Bolton had the chance then to really pounce on the rebound, and he wasn't the first one there. The ball was allowed to be hit straight into the circle because it was outside the 25. And here's the follow-up from Toby West on his reverse.
Cleared out by Deaven that time. Here's Deaven going for a run down the left-hand side.
Oh, he's quick, isn't he? David Wolford's not slow, but Tim Deaven, when he puts his foot on the accelerator, he really can go. He does ride motorbikes, so he's used to speed. I think he's got a Yamaha 500 or whatever it is. He likes the speed.
You go riding on the Pee-wee 50, don't you, Macca?
Well, not even that. I've never had balance even on 2 wheels.
Bolton. West mistimed it, but it will be an OHA ball.
Good courage from Luke Austin then as well. Daniel Sproul again, he's taken the free hit really quickly.
could see him looking for McCambridge. It didn't get that far. Jeff Cock working in traffic.
Already we're starting to see that pattern. Every time Jeffrey Cock touches the ball, there's someone from OHA there next to him.
Wolford confronted by Devon. And Morton to take it for OHA. Perfect conditions for hockey. Sun's out, it's nice and warm. Perfect spring weather.
Well received from Billy Shaw there. That's a difficult skill to receive overhead on your reverse. He did it with a lot of composure.
Edwards in possession. Sends it towards the circle. Tremaine got a stick on it. And Bolton. There's Alistair Addison. Part of this premiership successful team with Derwent over the last 3 years.
And there's Angus Bolton there trying to earn the penalty corner. Again, the Derwent defenders making those tackles outside the defensive circle. They don't want to give away a penalty corner.
Wolford runs towards Devon. With the new auto pass rule, Macca, you'd have to have a pretty good sense of what 5 yards was, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think it's really testing at times for the umpires and for the players, but it seems to me as if most teams and most players and umpires have coped pretty well.
Oh, McCambridge was in a dangerous situation there. West wants to get it back in there, and Sean Carey says a Derwent ball, and they're off and running. Anchor spreads it wide. Middleton through the middle, and he's coughed it up. West, McCambridge, who's he going to work it to? Confronted by Shaw, who regathers himself and gives it to Middleton. Well done.
Sam McCambridge giving Nick Tremaine a little bit of a bump off the play as well, off the ball. Nick Leslie working hard on Paul Anchor there, which is good work.
Shaw gets on with the job inside the circle. Can he find a foot or an obstruction? He finds nothing, and OHA finds itself in possession. Wolford down the right-hand side. McCambridge breaks for him. Wolford beats one. He works it towards Bolton. Bolton couldn't get there.
Well, it's a fast-paced game so far. It's a bit, as you've said beforehand, a bit end-to-end at the moment, and teams are looking to capitalise by taking those free hits very quickly. Good crowd in today. Nathan Fitzpatrick, the Derwent goalkeeper, got the sun in his eyes. He'll probably have the tape on his helmet.
May have a job to do in a minute. Worked nicely by McCambridge. Wolford was there. That was a lovely move from OHA. Fitzpatrick up to it though. Nathan Fitzpatrick. Apparently, Macca, after the 2007 premiership, he named his golden retriever Derwent.
Well, he's quick off the line there, and David Wolford on the diving, outstretched deflection. But Nathan Fitzpatrick, again, he was able to scan. He knew that Wolford was in the vicinity, and so he's able to close that down pretty quickly.
Now Derwent looking to build. Leslie clears, but only for a moment. Addison to send it back in. And there's no one there, so it'll be a 16-yard hit to OHA. 10 minutes gone in the men's grand final. No score to either team so far. Wolford with probably the best chance.
Oh, good work from Dylan Salt there. Just enough length on that one. Got over the top of Torren Bester.
And Bolton was racing after it. Webb across the defensive 25. And they've lost it here, Derwent.
This is where Edwards has to be involved in the play through a midfield transfer. Again, he wasn't involved there. For OHA to be successful, I think he needs to be involved.
Bester couldn't run onto it. West.
Toby West was named as the Rookie of the Year for the Tassie Tigers this year, during the week.
Did have that year at Northwest, Macca.
Yes, he had the year at Northwest and came back to his family's very much an OHA club, and so I just think after a while he decided to head back, and I think with Daniel Sproul going into the coaching position, I think he felt that he could glean an awful lot from Daniel Sproul, and certainly that's benefited his development throughout the year.
So Derwent have messed it up a little bit on the far side of the field, and Sproul trots up to take it. Uses Wolford, McCambridge inside the circle. It doesn't get there.
Yeah, good tackle there from Luke Austin, and he needed to make sure he protected his feet. What I'd like to see there from OHA's point of view was to really use width well. Luke Austin at one stage wasn't going to play for Derwent this year. I think the players and Paul Anker must have been instrumental in getting him to play again.
Morton, Wolford approaches the circle. Addison cuts it out. Anker. Sean Carey calls for it to come back to Addison. Webb now. Austin. Bester sees it out.
Yeah, difficult one to control at the end for Bester there. Oh, good work from Jeffrey Cock. Takes the ball off Jeremy Edwards. Really capitalising on the turnover there.
And a Derwent ball. Anker loads up, sends it in. Cock was there, but there's a foot involved, and it's an OHA ball.
Well, if you want to know what pressure's like, that's it just there. Simon Moore had to make a trap inside the defensive circle, and he had Jeffrey Cock almost holding his hands, just waiting for him to spill it. And had he have, Jeffrey Cock would have been all over it like a rash. But Simon Moore had the composure, found the foot of Jeffrey Cock.
Morton just content with one ball. Edwards, Addison, pressured by Leslie. Leslie did okay. Wolford, who's been involved, and it will be OHA's again.
And McCambridge still in there, a bit of a bump around with Stuart Webb. There's a bit going on there. This is what I like, Alistair, a little bit of just sort of heat going into the game.
Well, it's a grand final. You'd expect if there's going to be any game with some niggle, it'll be this one. And McCambridge, if Jeff Cox, the goal-scoring danger man for Derwent, Sam McCambridge, if he gets his side on goal, could electrify the OHA supporters. Webb. Tremaine. Addison.
Stuart Webb looking to send a through ball now, intercepted by Toby West. Here's an opportunity for OHA.
He uses Bolton back towards West, but just couldn't get it to him.
Well, it was a clever little ball. He's just trying to weight it so that Toby West could run onto it. But just not able to do so. And here it is now. He thought about challenging Billy Shaw, and then again he's just put too much on it, so Toby West couldn't get there.
Tremaine.
Oh, clever little ball there. There's a little lob as the centre half, just trying to utilise the free space. Too much on it, but that's the idea though. Trying to get Jeffrey Cock involved in the game, been quiet so far.
Cox got it. He wanted Anker. Well done, Dylan Salt. To West and back to Salt. OHA link up nicely, and that didn't have enough on it to get to McCambridge. Robbed by Tremaine. Now with Cock. One way, then the other. Keeps his feet, good balance. Still going, Jeff Cock. He loves these situations. Look at that. He worked it back. Austin out to Webb. Now inside the circle. Deflection comes. And the ball raised. The crowd not too happy about the decision, but no point arguing with the umpire.
It was quite a nonchalant save from Aaron Williams. He just had a swing at it, and I think it was a tackle from behind that was placed on David Wolford that alerted Stuart Belts that there had been a breach of the rules. Dylan Salt played so well in the preliminary final.
It gets past Webb to Moore. Webb applies some body pressure. Moore works it in the Wolford direction. Angie Ockenden might be able to help me here, Macca, but when OHA won the premiership in 1977, there was a Gary Webb who scored a goal. And I do believe that Stuart Webb, playing for Derwent today, his father's name's Gary.
Yep, this one and the same. That's right.
He'll be a bit torn today, Ange.
Sorry?
He'll be a bit torn today.
Yes. Yes. I understood they were very Derwent people, so I'm wondering if that's... I think Stuart Webb's father is definitely Gary, but I couldn't actually tell you whether he played for OHA. I'll have to find that out for you.
Well, I was looking at the score sheet and there was definitely a Gary Webb who scored in the win over Northwest in 77. Always love setting Angie some homework.
I will find out for you.
Don't worry, she will, Macca. She'll have it in about 5 minutes, I reckon.
Oh, good work there from Luke Austin. Followed up his own good pass going forward then.
Tremaine comes up to take it. They have to go back to Bester. Torrin Bester uses Shaw. Deven inside the circle, confronted by Leslie, and he wins a penalty corner. Second for Derwent.
Well, that's the danger for OHA. They didn't cut the line to Tim Deven then, and by the time the ball was transferred into the middle of the park, and it's Billy Shaw who sees him, and Tim Deven, he's so quick, bang, he just drags it straight onto the foot of Nick Leslie. He's done his job. They'd be hoping, and would have been, you know, Paul Anker, the coach of Derwent, would have been saying to them, look, where we can, let's get penalty corners and give Jeffrey Cock every opportunity to put the ball in the net. Problem being at the moment is that he's not on the pitch. I think he's being rested. So we've got Alistair Addison at the moment, possibly even Greg Bent. It'll probably be Alistair Addison.
Tremaine lets it go. It is Alistair Addison who flings it goal, and he gets the first goal of the grand final. And listen to that, a vocal Derwent crowd celebrating.
Well, this is an example of the depth of Derwent. I mean, even though Jeffrey Cock mightn't have been on the field, they then have another person step up, Alistair Addison, who's, you know, a very capable penalty corner flicker as well, and in a grand final has the composure and the skill. And it looks as if it's taken a deflection there. If we look at that first one here, well, you can't quite see from that angle, but I'm pretty sure.
Tremaine.
Well, I think it has taken a deflection, and that's the part that's probably wrong-footed Aaron Williams.
We'll have to have another look at that, Macca. Do we give it to Addison, or did Tremaine get his stick to it?
Well, I think it might have been Tremaine.
We'll get the magnifying glass onto that one shortly. Play goes on. And OHA, here we go. Now Tremaine flings in. You see Addison step up. Here's Tremaine working his way towards the post. In it goes. And a goal, I would suggest, to Alistair Addison.
I don't know. I'm a little bit sort of thinking that Tremaine might have got to that one. Yep, I think Tremaine might have been the one. I can debate that with you after the game, Alistair.
All right. I'm happy to have a wager, Macca, on that one.
No probs.
Although Vanessa is the optometrist, isn't she? My eyesight's probably not as good as yours based on that.
Well, she's not an optometrist, but she knows a lot about it.
She works in the industry, Macca, that'll do. Tremaine.
Good work there from Tremaine. Just his composure in deep defence. He's the captain, he's the leader. He just shows the way. Good width there from Derwent.
Jeff Cock waited for it in the end. I think he thought he was going to get a free hit.
News from the sideline, yes. In fact, Gary Webb, father of Stuart Webb, was an OHA player.
And there's another goal to Derwent. And they are celebrating again. It looks like Dougal Middleton's got on the sheet this time. And they have scored 2 goals in about 2 minutes to break the game open.
Well, that's the man that you at one stage when you were commentating referred to him as Bobo the Clown because of his hair. But there he is, Dougal Middleton. He gets in there in front of the opponent goalkeeper and he gets in there nice and low. He's in there for the deflection. You've got Simon Moore saying questioning it. Aaron Williams is not sure either, but it's gone down. So Bobo the Clown, he's got one.
Andrew McDonald. We must see about getting another expert next year. Here's Morford.
It's starting to fire up this game. I like it.
It's got some real run and gun now, Macca. It's gone up a real notch. You can just see the intensity has lifted. OHA 2 goals down. They need to strike back quickly.
Well, I spoke to some of the Northwest Grads players before the game, and they were tipping Derwent to win by 8-1.
There's a shot, and a not bad shot either, on target from Edwards. The follow-up shot. It came from McCambridge, but a free hit awarded to Derwent.
Well, it looked like it was deflected into the air and it bounced off the post. And I thought Tim Deaven actually then carried it across the goal line. So the ball's dropped, and now you'll see the ball goes into the air. Now that's not dangerous. Now it's come off Tim Deaven. He's played it and he's taken it over the line. So I'm not sure why that's not a goal.
Bit of controversy here.
Gee whiz.
There weren't great protestations from OHA.
Whistle had gone prior to that play by Tim Deaven. You might not have been able to hear that whistle, but that's what it looked like.
Thanks, Ange. All the same, Macca, did you think it was dangerous?
Well, to me, it didn't look as if it was dangerous, no. It was a goal shot.
McCambridge, little jink to the right. Short, did okay. Does well again. Well done, Billy Shaw. Now trotting away with it, Austin. Their turn to attack again. Austin knocks it on. He wanted Middleton, but Dylan Salt knew what was coming.
Well, Luke Austin should have been able to get Dougal Middleton away there. He hung onto the ball for too long. And so this is the initial shot now. Maybe that's deemed as being dangerous because it's been hit through traffic. So the free hit may have been already awarded there. Maybe that was deemed as being dangerous. But if it had been allowed, and I can't see why that wasn't a goal. But I think, as Ange Ockenden mentioned before, I think it was blown for it being dangerous.
Tremaine gets through them. Now needs an option. Cleverly gets it out to Bester, who uses Austin. West gets to him. And West does nicely. Didn't want to see it out. In the end, he finds the foot, so a win for OHA there. Moore, the captain, uses Sproul, the coach. Morton couldn't trap it effectively. And the ball put out by Sproul.
Billy Shaw so far for Derwent is a person that's made his impact on the game as a defender. Numerous tackles in deep defence, but also then he's popped up inside the attacking 25. So it shows what the benefit is of having a good motor.
Here comes Deaven. In he goes. The stick gets caught up in it all, and Ramiraj uses Edwards. Back to Ramiraj, who missed the ball, and Tremaine dishes it off. Austin, Middleton, Jeff Cox inside the circle. Salt was there as well, and we saw this time and time again against University last week. Dylan Salt getting in the way of many penetrations. Deaven tangles up, and he loses the ball.
A bit of a risky tackle there too from Dylan Salt, I think it was. And not sure why Tim Deaven's complaining. Dylan was just trying to make the intercept. But when the pass on his reverse was being taken, Dylan was down low. It's often sometimes a danger area where players can get the contact by the stick into the head.
Sproul, Edwards. Goes back. Salt. Back to Edwards. Morton. And Ramiraj were the targets. Deaven dispossessed Ramiraj.
The difficult thing about Tim Deven is that when he's running the ball, he often carries the ball off the ground. So when you go to tackle him, you're not sure as to where it's going to go next.
Middleton sizes it up. Austin's got it. Tight angle. Across the face it goes.
Well, that's the one that Jeffrey Cock normally banks his money on, and he'll be disappointed he didn't make contact on that one. And it goes right across the goal face, and you'll just see Jeffrey Cock's upright rather than down low. And see his reaction? He knows that he should have been down low.
Sproul's ball, and he wastes no time. He will come back though. So 2-0 in favour of Derwent. Deven cuts it off. Sproul back through the middle. Uses Ramiraj, the Malaysian. Tim Deven's got a little confused on that occasion, the ball going the other way. Another OHA ball. Time for them to strike. Need to make something of this.
Yeah, being very methodical at the moment, OHA, building the play down the flanks. Good work there from Jake Morton, trying to mix it up a little bit, taking the free hit quickly, trying to get at the deep defender's feet inside the defensive circle. Might be able to sneak a penalty corner.
So Addison to take it for Derwent. He likes the look of the overhead. Sends it in the anchor direction. Again, it's Salt with good control. Edwards may use Sproul. Elects not to.
Well, the problem for Jeremy Edwards at the moment is that most of the time, 9 times out of 10 when he's getting the ball, he's receiving it with his back facing to the goal they're attacking. So he's not able to then string a pass forward. And he's going to have to start thinking about trying to receive the ball so he can go forward with it and make those incisive passes.
Morton to Wolford. Approaches the circle. Anchor.
Derwent have got all of their players back in the defensive 25.
Edwards thumps it in. Well read by Webb. And they're away here, Derwent. Bowen and Deven and Bowen again. Morton makes a contest of it. Bowen keeps on going.
Another good young player, Bowen.
Addison sends it back. Webb. They switch it up here. Bester on the broadcast side. Doesn't get past Moore. Middleton goes and pressures him. Sproul assesses the options. Again, it's Edwards, and again he does have his back to the plate.
He's having a horrid day, Edwards, and he's letting the umpire know, saying that 3 or 4 times in a row now have been banged into from behind. Daniel Sproul's now going to give the umpire a bit of a spray. He's trying to protect his centre half, but he's realising that this is part of a tactic almost from Derwent, and it's having an impact on OHA's ability to be able to turn and go forward. They keep on going back.
Middleton wanted Bowen. Gets in a tangle with Ramiraj. Leslie. Oh, good stuff, Deven. More hungry for it. Gets it to Jeff Cock. He's the only Derwent player forward. And a penalty corner.
Well, I think there was a bit of a word there between Jeffrey Cock and might have been young Jake Morton after he made the tackle. I think Jeffrey was letting him know that you're not good enough. And then Simon Moore stepped in to remind Jeffrey Cock that save that for later on. There's the tackle there. It's Dylan Salt, actually, I think it is.
Well, this will make it extremely difficult for OHA if Derwent can convert from here. Usually good from these situations. They have the danger man, Jeff Cock. He prepares himself. The target's in his sights. Jeff Cock, this time along the ground, and Jeff Cock shows you don't need to put it in the air. Derwent 3-0 up in the grand final.
Well, interesting, it didn't appear as if that penalty corner flick had a great deal of power on it, but what it was certainly difficult for I think Simon Moore on the post here. It takes a little bit of a bobble. And Simon Moore's in the perfect position to try and get a stick on it, but maybe he just wasn't sighted well enough and there's too much traffic in front of him. But Derwent moving into a commanding position already early in this grand final.
47 goals to Jeff Cock this season. 50's a fair way away, but not entirely out of the equation, Macca.
You wouldn't have thought so. I mean, let's not forget that in the second half, OHA will be defending with the sun directly in their eyes, and so that'll make it even more difficult for Aaron Williams.
Morton tries to win it from Deven. Deven did it really nicely. Austin and Ramaraj gets involved as well. Not the start that OHA wanted.
I was speaking to Rick Charlesworth during the week, Alistair, and he was telling me how impressed he was with Tim Deven when he was playing for Australia, and in his words, he said this boy's done himself no harm whatsoever, and so I think that Rick will be giving him pretty close scrutiny over the next few months.
Well, I think Tasmania's soon got to start pressing for its own international team the way we're going, Macca. We'd take on Samoa at least, wouldn't we?
I think we'd do okay there.
Ramaraj winds up.
And I noticed during the week that Eddie Ockerton's got his own website now, and you know, he's out there, and you know, professional hockey player. You know how they go, Alistair.
It's quite professional from all reports too, Macca. Yeah. Worth a look.
Counting all the dollars, it's coming rolling in, looking after mum and dad.
Yeah, just going into the Angie Ockenden Trust account, I think, Macca.
Yes.
The Chardonnay account.
I wish.
Edwards raises it. There's going to be some soul searching for OHA to do at half time. They're going to have to mix it up in the second half. Going to have to come out all guns blazing. Just so hard to get an advantage against this Derwent side, which not only has a potent strike weapon, but is so complete across every line.
Well, that's the issue, is that I think that poor old Sam McCambridge there, he was pressing Billy Shaw, but it wasn't happening in the second line. Nick Leslie and Sam McCambridge, they need to be working in tandem together so that they can really put the pressure on Derwent's outletting, because at the moment, Derwent have got total control of the ball in their back half, and now they've got time to be finding precise passes in the front 50.
Torren Besta ran into a wall, and Leslie comes up with the free hit. Knocked on by Edwards to Moore, who gets it on to Bolton, who evades, beats Webb, and Webb gets a stick in, but it will be OHA's.
But Bolton didn't need to go through that deep defender again for a second time. He'd already beaten him once, and then he chose to run past him again. Just needed to go straight at the circle to try and get a goal shot and put the pressure on the Derwent defenders in the defensive circle.
Simon Moore says, I can't see a way in. Over to you, Daniel, who uses Morton. McCambridge outside the circle. Defensive work from Newbold.
Very good crowd in.
And they're pretty vocal too, Macca.
Well, I think Derwent have got an awful number of, huge amount of supporters.
Here's a chance for OHA.
I think it might have been Nick Tremaine, in actual fact, as well as OHA. The OHA supporters there all clapping, letting Nick Tremaine know that he was the culprit, I think, in that instance. So it's just about now, and not quite sure. It might have made contact with Nick Tremaine's foot on the way through, or either that or a tackle from behind. Either way, umpire Sean Carey giving the Derwent defenders time to put on all the security that they need to have, all the safety gear.
Well, this will certainly lift OHA spirits. It'll be the last play of the first half. They trail it 3-0. You would think they must score here to be any chance. And here they go for a confidence booster. Leslie, still a chance. McCambridge into the side. And the Derwent fans happy with that.
Sambry Cambridge, and there's a bit happening there as well off the play there. Yep, Simon Moore letting know Nick Tremaine. A bit going on. I think we're pretty sure that this is a grand final. Tempers are starting to flare a little bit.
And that first half really could not have gone any better for Derwent. 3 goals on the board. A goal to Alistair Addison from a penalty corner in the 19th minute. Dougal Middleton in the 22nd. And Jeff Cock from another penalty corner in the 32nd minute. David Wolford probably with the best opportunity for OHA at the other end. But, gee, Macca, you can't really see how OHA is going to get back into this one.
Well, I was really surprised with that last variation that they had. I mean, because Daniel Sproul was in a position to hit it on his forestick, but, you know, the person who initially trapped it rolled and wanted to hit it on his reverse. So I'm not sure. There's Zane Wright as well, ex-Tassie Tiger player, ex-national player, talking to Daniel Sproul, trying to give him some sort of his insight into the game. But really, I mean, as you've said a minute ago, it's really now about Sambry Cambridge getting into the game. And part of the way he does it is by making that body contact and by trying to be a bit more aggravating to the opposition players. Really at this stage, the Derwent defence, they've been tackling very well.
Well, the statistics show that Derwent has had more of the ball, they've had more penetrations, they've had more shots on goal, and they've also had more penalty corners. So they're leading in pretty much every statistic, and they're leading 3-0 on the scoreboard. Let's take a look at those highlights from the first half. And here's Alistair Addison. Jeff Cock off the field at this point, so it was Addison who stepped up and delivered. Yeah,
that's right. And there might have been a deflection just there. And you know, Alistair Addison again, even when Jeffrey Cock is off the pitch, it shows you the depth of the team. And this is great from Dougal Middleton. And he just, the incisive ball. Now, Paul Anker is very good at doing that. One of Paul Anker's real strengths and is his ability to change the ball quickly on different angles. Jeffrey Cock does his job. All he does is look to try and force a penalty corner. They're obviously very confident at the moment that if they get a penalty corner, that there's a very, very high percentage that it'll end up in being a goal. Daniel Sproul, I mean, the problem for Derwent at this stage is they've got to be careful they don't start saying to themselves, well, we've already got it in the bag, we're 3 goals up, and it only takes 1 goal, and the whole sort of, focus on the game can change, the tempo of the game.
Here's Daniel Sproul in the halftime huddle.
Dylan and myself, we need to get these balls away, earlier. All these balls, the inside forwards being closer, we're just too far away now, just getting stretched too far, And the other thing about when we get a free hit over here, where are all their numbers? They're all over here, So instead of auto-playing this play, let's get it out, So this play to our left, that's what we need to do. And the same on the other side. But most of the time it's happening on the right-hand side. We're just trying to auto-play and we just continue up into their numbers, So we need to get it out quickly and to the other side, But the real thing is, just need to get closer. I don't think we've made three or four passes during the whole half, have we? I don't reckon. We need to get closer. I know it's going to be hard work, but we need to get closer and then run forward, And just with the stepping up, I know they're going to put a few high now, so we're going to be stretched a bit. So we just have to be really talk a lot at the back, to get the lines, So if Cocky's here and Dylan's with him, Dylan, you need to call me so I know that he's going that way. I can cut the line, That sort of play is what we need to do. If you don't call me, he's going to get the ball, So we need to sort that out.
So do you think, Macca, that Derwent will perhaps go slightly more defensive in this second half, try and protect, or go for broke?
No, they'll go for broke, and that's their psyche. That's the reason why they're lining up to be, this record of 4 premierships in a row consecutively. I mean, I just think that, the real pressure now is on Jeremy Edwards. They've got to get him involved in the play, receiving the ball going forward. Sambry Cambridge has got to have the finger pointed at him and told, look, get in there, start running at Stuart Webb, see if he can force some penalty corners. Toby West has got to lift from the point of view. I think he's been reasonable early on in the first half, but then he started to drop away. The real pressure and I feel it's almost for Daniel Sproul, he's a little bit helpless because, what is he? He's up against real strength in every single possible line.
Here's Angie Ockenden.
Well, in the Derwent camp, there was a lot of love. There was a lot of backslapping and well done, mates, and everyone was fairly cheerful. They know they're in control. They know they're in possession of the game, really. And basically what they talked about was keeping the momentum up, making sure they slowed the ball down when they got under pressure in defence, just slowed the game down. But when they built momentum, to keep their ball speed up and to keep the pressure on. They really were quietly confident. There wasn't any panic or any sort of loud voices or whatever. They were just very confident about what they were doing and get on with the job the next 35 minutes and it's all over.
Thanks, Angie. Yep, 35 minutes to go for OHA to mount something, mount a case for their first premiership since 1977. It's been a long, long time for them. They have a massive task ahead of them. And Derwent, they know how to finish the job. They've been in this situation before.
Interesting there, Nick Tremaine. It shows you how he thinks. He's actually looking at the opposition to see if there'd been any positional changes and how OHA had changed their lineup at the start of the second half. So again, you can see how he's really thinking about what's actually happening on the pitch.
Here come OHA then. Dylan Salt, Morton, immediately confronted by Anchor. Morton, Edwards. Really a hit and hope there in the end.
Well, it's a forward pass, though, for Jeremy Edwards. It's one of the few that we've seen. So I like the fact that he's actually looking to try and pass the ball going forward.
Wolford kept it alive, but Billy Shaw put the ball out of play. Morton to reload from the sideline. Wolford.
Oh, good work.
Just checked himself there, Wolford, as Newbold dived to the ground over the ball. Anchor works it on for Jeff Cock. Back of the heel job for Jeffrey Cock. Morton from Sproul. Edwards, more runs for him. West and Moore, and perhaps a little lack of communication between the two. Moore gains a few metres. That's about all. Tremaine, confronted by Bolton. Shaw. Webb. Just controlling the ball, practicing his stick work.
Well, this is really where Derwent would want their midfielders to be presenting, so there's more option for Stuart Webb as he receives it. Tim Deeman was quiet there and he wasn't too happy to move and lead. He needs to be.
McCambridge was trying to square it up for Edwards, but Nick Tremaine. And then he uses Jeff Cock. Dylan Salt's with him. Cock and Morton. Cock with one hand, diving Dylan Salt. It'll be Jeffrey's ball.
Good strength. Here's the acceleration from Jeffrey Cock. Just taps it back really quickly. Catches Dylan Salt on the foot. But then Jake Morton tries to steal on his reverse. But good strength over the ball. Jeffrey Cock a builder. And he's reasonably got pretty good forearm strength.
Sproul, Morton goes for a run, works it to Edwards.
That's more like it for OHA. That's what Edwards needs to do more of.
West uses Wolford, he puts it inside the circle, Fitzpatrick out, and they've lost it here, OHA.
Well, I think the ball made contact with the body of Sam McCambridge, and we'll see the pass just gets fired across here. It's bouncing up, and just the movement from behind of Sam McCambridge also made body contact with the goalkeeper.
It was a more positive build-up from OHA though. Now Simon Moore with some work to do. Greg Bent applies the pressure on him.
Greg Bent, he's been around for a long time. He was playing for Derwent as a striker when I was playing many years ago, so he's obviously worked pretty hard on his fitness to still be able to play at this level.
He's always been a good runner, Macca. I think he goes in half marathons. I've seen him at the State Half Marathon Championship a few times. It's no mean feat.
No. Don't really know myself, Alistair, too much about that, but anyway.
And I must stress, Macca, I'm not there as a competitor.
Oh, here we go, Tim Deevan.
Deevan looks for an option. Middleton bolts for him. Williams are out.
That's a great contest and great coverage from Dougal Middleton as well. And just a little change of direction here, right to left. Now, bang, he's setting up for his reverse shot at net. And just out of screen, we didn't see Dougal Middleton. And he was getting there diving to try and get the deflection away. Meanwhile, Derwent have been able to win another penalty corner.
I'm not even sure why they bother having that little team meeting at the top of the circle, Macca. It doesn't take that long to reach the conclusion that Jeff Cock's going to have a fling.
Well, it's interesting because the sun will certainly be in the eyes now of the goalkeeper and the people on the post, so it's that more difficult. I mean, we shouldn't forget that Derwent were actually going into the sun in the first half and still able to play pretty good hockey. And now the pressure really much is on OHA, and it's also on Aaron Williams.
And we're actually seeing again that Jeffrey Cock off the field at the moment, so they're going to have to mix it up a bit here, Derwent. It's Middleton, who's trying to work it to Tremaine on the left post.
Well, this is one of the problems sometimes with this revolving rotation which teams now are using and employing. Every 6 minutes they rotate players off. It means that sometimes you will have a penalty corner awarded to you, but you won't have players on there who can do it. So you've got to make sure you have really good depth, and Dougal Middleton was stepping up to take that last penalty corner, and he can flick as well.
Well, Daniel Sproul on that occasion thought to himself, I don't even need to get up to play this. I'll do it from my knees. And that sock perhaps just being pulled up to cover a little nick, I'd imagine. But Cambridge needs to impose himself on the game and get the opportunity to send the ball in the Wolford direction. Wolford running, taking them on, gives it away.
Yeah, David Wolford a fraction unlucky there, but he's got to be able to get over that.
Tremaine. Middleton. Sproul. Just waited for it to come to him. In the end, it went to Bester, who gave it back again to West. Now McCambridge, and he really is getting annoyed here, Sam McCambridge.
Well, I think he doesn't like the body contact aspect of it, but I'm pretty sure you'll find he'll get a green card here, being the aggravator against Tim Deven. But there is the body contact.
Tim Deven pretty smartly not retaliating. And a green for McCambridge.
Well, it's 2 weeks in AFL football. Elster make contact with the head.
Oh, I thought Buddy should have got 6, Macca.
Oh, gee.
Just for you. Here's Tremaine. Wolford pressures him.
Tremaine just looks so composed, doesn't he, when he's over the ball?
A very accomplished player. Shaw, who's rapidly becoming a very accomplished player as well. Newbold into Wolford.
Again, just happy to control the ball at the back, asking questions of the OHA forward line. Well, if you want it, you'll have to come and get it off us. And in doing so, you'll open up some spaces on which we'll punish you by it.
Shaw, Tremaine. Happy to possess the ball. It's keepings off at the moment. And now a more decisive ball from Webb, and well controlled in the end by Newbold. To anchor. Greg Bent moves for him. He tries to get it to Bent but can't.
He didn't really have the composure really that was required then. Pretty hard sometimes though, I suppose, when you're running on an acute angle and at top speed.
They've turned it over again here, OHA. Anchor breaks. Jeff Cock inside the circle. He's lurking, he's looming large, and Daniel Sproul gets across.
I think Daniel Sproul is going to have to change sticks maybe halfway through the second half. He's got an awful lot of touches at the moment.
A few white cherries on that one, Macca.
No doubt.
Wolford works it out to the left, and the missed trap from West. Just a little bit untidy, OHA. Tremaine. So OHA trailing at 3-0. We're yet to see a goal in the second half. If this is to be a contest, any goal that we do see now must go to OHA. They're a chance to create something here. West works it back. Moore. Wolford on his reverse over the top. Didn't even set a task for Fitzpatrick on that occasion.
Well, they've got to get them on target. I mean, you know, they're running out of chances. If they get it on target, even if it's low, at least there's a chance the ball will force a rebound. Someone gets there in front, gets a tap in. We saw it in the women's grand final. Emily Lawson got to it first, knocked it to one of her teammates. Bang, before you know it was a goal. It was a clincher.
Northwest in the women's celebrating a grand final victory. A 70th minute goal to Ali Shearman. The scoreline 4-3. Jeff Cock inside the circle. His eyes lit up again. Anchor. Well done, Leslie.
Well, Mark Roberts for Derwent then had an awful lot of time inside the attacking circle. I'm not sure the choice to pass to his teammate was the right one. He could have turned and had an easy goal shot on his 4.
McCambridge tried to make use of the auto pass. He was probably a fraction too quick for the liking of Stuart Belt.
Nick Leslie's been quiet so far in this game. Coach Daniel Sproul would have been hoping that Nick Leslie, Agnes Bolton, those type of players were at their peak. So far Nick Leslie hasn't had an impact for OHA.
McCambridge on his stomach. Webb, McCambridge keeps on fighting. Bolton will be an OHA free hit. As Daniel Sproul said at halftime, they just need to start making a few passes.
Roberts trying to work the way out of defensive 25 there for Derwent.
Another OHA ball. Edwards works it to Morton and back to Edwards. Inside the circle he goes. With a stalemate there and the ball worked out of play.
A little bit luckier than Derwent because they really should have pushed their defenders out of the defensive circle. But OHA not able to capitalise. It's Tim Deavan and Tyron Bester, they were too deep.
Daniel Sproul must know that it's getting away from his team and need to strike. And need to do something. Dylan Salt. Tremaine comes at him. It's inside the circle. And a free hit to OHA.
The ball made contact with Derwent defender Billy Shaw's foot.
Edwards spreads it wide. Morton confronted by Anchor. And Anchor gets some encouragement from his teammates. Sproul wants to load up. And that pretty much sums it up for OHA.
There was good body contact on Sam McCambridge then on that free hit. Stuart Webb was all over him. I often talk about defenders having really good man-to-man marking skills. There's these rotations we've been seeing that Derwent have been employing throughout the year. Again, the reason for doing it is to make sure they're resting players, A, but also B, that they're maintaining a high tempo.
Newbold. Just not sure where to go. Back to Webb. Wolford pressured. Got it to Bowen. Back to Newbold. Newbold, Middleton. Jinks it on. Salt and Bowen. A belated whistle. Awards a free the way of Derwent. He's mixed it up here, Dougal Middleton, and done it pretty well. Bester. Austin wants to get a shot away. A big boot from Williams up. A good 35 metres.
Is that a drop punt, Alistair?
More of a drop kick, Macca. A bit of the old-fashioned as Bolton approaches the circle. They need a goal, OHA. Fitzpatrick gets his feet to it. And the ball rebounds outside the circle. Webb robs Bolton of it. That looked really promising on that occasion for OHA.
Yeah, Bolton had his weight going in the wrong direction, really. Wasn't able to hit through the ball. He was falling away as he made contact. But Nathan Fitzpatrick, again, quick to come off his line. Goes down the angle.
Leslie eliminates, goes inside the circle, and Torren Bester swoops on it.
Well, that's probably been, as we watch some of the coach Paul Anker on the bench there. We've got Greg Bent, Alistair Addison. So a number of good quality players sitting on the bench, and isn't it great for doing it? They're afforded the luxury where they can rest players like that. Daniel Sproud, love to have those players out on the pitch right now. But one of the qualities at the moment for Derwent is their tackling around the defensive circle. They've been very good today. Probably one of the major reasons why at the moment they're fully on top in this grand final.
Salt. Everyone inside OHA's attacking half, except for the OHA goalkeeper. Put in by Leslie, and it will be OHA. They just can't find a way through a sea of Derwent defenders.
Zane Wright, the OHA bench coach, I suppose, at this stage. Wondering where is the next goal going to come from. They're looking for a goal. I think it's going to be blown as a goal.
And OHA is on the board here.
Angus Bolton looks like, and it was a direct. This is, I think, what OHA, when they're direct, they look really good because they create some chances. That wasn't the play there, obviously, but when the ball's smashed into the attacking circle, you often find someone at the far post. And OHA sometimes get a really good return from doing so.
Try and have another look at that replay in a minute. The game a little more alive now, 3-1.
Oh, look at those skills.
Tim Deven.
Silky skills at speed.
But here's the turnover. Leslie, Salt. With Cambridge starts running deep. And Salt's ball too wide for him.
So the ball goes wide, and I think it's Simon Moore who gets in there, and the deflection's taken from around about the spot area. And again, through all that traffic, it was hard to make out who actually got the deflection, but I think it might have been Angus Bolton.
Well, we've marked it down as Angus Bolton. And I don't really think that OHA are too concerned with where it came from. They know that has just breathed a little bit of life in to their chances. And some desperate work from Morton as the target was Jeff Cock.
Well, it might also change the style of play as well, because what it might mean from now on is that they're actually going to be a bit more direct. They're actually going to start driving the ball into the attacking circle, and by doing so, put the pressure on the deep defenders for Derwent.
Leslie, Sproul, McCambridge.
Oh, he's quick like that, McCambridge.
Now he's got 3 Derwent players to beat, including the goalkeeper.
Well, that's what we would deem as a professional foul, Alistair. Stuart Webb, all he did was got his foot into it, in the way, hold up the play, and break down the counter-attack, which
and
was coming at them.
Back. Edwards wants to work it in. They have been forced down into that dead zone on the broadcast side time and time again.
Dougal Middleton complaining then to umpire Stuart Belts that he wasn't able to make a tackle because Jeremy Edwards was protecting the ball.
Wolford and Deven did a good job not to get his feet hooked up in that one. Edwards wants to send it in again.
Talk.
Stuart Belts has spotted something.
Well, I think it was David Wolford made comments to Stuart Belts, so he's deemed it as a breach. A free hit to do it.
Can't afford any drops in discipline, Macca, when you're trailing 3-1.
Well, that's right. It shows that the tempers are starting to flare a little bit again. Maybe they've put that sniff back.
Newbold. Bowen kept it in, but Salt's best placed. In fact, it's Edwards. He runs away, elects not to use Sproul. Goes back to Salt, who may spread to Morton. He wants to go more direct, perhaps. In the end, he's forced back to Morton.
Well, it looks as if Daniel Sproul's starting to play himself a bit high now. He's realised that time is against him, so he started to come up the park a little bit. I think that's a good move. Nothing to lose now by him playing as a centre-half type role or an attacking midfielder.
Wolford got in the way of it. Deven won it back for a moment. Sproul running hard. Bolton, McCambridge inside the circle. He's got to get past two more Derwent players. Sproul's in possession, runs inside the circle. Can he get on the sheet? No, he can't. It's a Derwent ball. Their defence has been rock solid.
But this is the benefit they're going to get by playing Daniel in this role that he's doing now. He's got the speed to accelerate quickly. Bolton here tries to eliminate, but his ball, he's not, he didn't have the close-in skills. He should have been able to protect the ball a bit more, but I think it might have been Tim Deeman who comes off his line, made the tackle, and the ball made contact with Daniel Sproul's foot. And I think Sproul is got the right move. He's got to go forward.
Morton. Edwards. Bowen taken to ground. Still certainly time, but OHA really needs to get a wriggle on. Off the stick of Jeff Cock, it lands nicely.
Ooh, and Jeffrey Cox letting Paul Anker know, the coach, careful Jeffrey, the coach might say to you, you've got to go and have a bit of a rest. But when he took that shot, Paul Anker, I'm sure he was making a pass across the goal face, but he had Jeffrey Cock right in behind him in a better position.
Edwards now for OHA. He wanted Ramiraj. Addison got in the way of it. Salt, Morton. Sproul. Again, he goes for a run.
A good ball too. There's a pinpoint pass then from Daniel Sproul. And put it right onto the reverse of Nick Leslie in such a position he could have continued to go forward.
And it'll be another OHA ball at the top of the circle. In goes Daniel. Big collision. Stuart Belts giving his lungs a workout on the whistle.
Well, you can see there that the ball almost got underneath Daniel Sproul, and I think Daniel Sproul might have been hopeful that he would have been awarded a penalty corner for the tackle by Nick Tremaine. I think Nick Tremaine's tackle was quite composed.
The overhead cut out by Salt. Wanted Ramiraj.
There's loose ball control there from Dylan Salt.
Webb gave it back to Morton though. Moore. No one near him. Goes long. And again, it's chopped off by Tremaine. Tremaine on the break through the middle. Ran into Sproul. They've turned it over here. Leslie on the break to McCambridge. No, to himself. Cuts back, does okay. Now wants to put it inside the circle. Good persistence, good perseverance. The Derwent defence, though, again clears the ball out.
Well, for me, this has been the real highlight of Derwent's game so far, is their defensive work. They've just been able to make one tackle after another tackle after another tackle. And if you're an OHA forward, all you do is you run into one Derwent defender, and then all of a sudden another one pops into your traffic. And I'll tell you what, it's making it really difficult for the OHA forwards. They're working well together, Derwent.
I actually think, Macca, that OHA have now taken the advantage in penetrations, 22 to 19 in favour of OHA, so they're pressing.
Well, I think the move by putting Daniel Sproul in the middle was a catalyst for that. There's no doubt that he's driving, he's taking those auto passes really quickly.
There he is. Moore. Knocked in by Sproul. And Wolford.
Some of the OHA coaching bench there looking on, looking a bit nervous. Toby West having a rest, obviously.
Stuart Webb. A reliable defender for Derwent. Shaw. Bowen. And feet of Daniel Sproul involved there. Tremaine moves it on quickly. Addison's drifted up. Gets it to Anchor. Anchor runs out of room.
Come in, Phil, come in, Phil. Time for us to do. Let me step up.
The toss from Salt. Tremaine works it well to Deven. Deven to Jeff Cock. The challenge from Moore.
Yeah, just a little bit untidy there. Simon Moore had to get out there quickly, and because he had to get out there so quickly, it meant that the tackle was just not as tidy as it should have been. Here's the pass, and then there's the contact. And sure, you want to be out there quickly with Jeffrey Cock and close him down, but not at such a speed that you give away a free hit straight away.
Webb. I don't think it was intended for Deven. Addison was the target, I think, and now here comes McCambridge. Works it well. Wolford. Webb's racing to get back to him. Wolford charging ahead. Bolton's inside the circle. Wolford pressured. Well done, Webb. Wolford still going. It will be an OHA ball, but it was, again, fantastic defence.
Well, Stuart Webb just here, he's almost on all fours when he makes this tackle. That was that one there, and that tackle was a really important one because he was on the ground, so his body was a target. It could easily have been a penalty corner against.
Salt punches it in, came off the stick of Bester and then off the stick of Wolford. And that's what they've got to do, Macca.
Well, they've just got
take
to try,
risks.
Yep, they've got to try and make something from nothing, because really at this point in time, the Derwent defence, they've tried running them and beating them with skills. They've got to try and hope that there are some trapping errors by the Derwent defence. If the ball spills, they're able to pounce on it and put it in the net.
Austin. Ramiraj got a few metres. Cambridge the target. Good ball from him. Webb corrals. Webb puts it out. Again, all the players in the OHA half. Umpire lets it go. Wolford takes a wild shot at it. Deven bursts. 4 OHA players confront Deven. And Daniel Sproul not only confronts him, he takes the ball away from him. And this crowd getting more vocal by the second. Angie Ockenden, how is that atmosphere down there now?
Certainly on the commentary box side, the OHA supporters are really enjoying the game. They're willing their team to continue the way they're going, and they just want them to score a goal. And then I think really it will hot up.
Well, this is the tackle from, is it Tim Deven, and he's made a bit of body contact from behind, and Sean Carey, the umpire, has deemed it as just being a green. I think Daniel Sproul was hopeful that it might have been a different colour.
Morton gave it to Sproul, who used Edwards. Cambridge ahead of him. Edwards through the legs of Anchor. Ramiraj, first there. Edwards. Anchor in front of him. Uses Ramiraj. He has Addison in front of him.
Well, again, 2 really good tackles, you know, on the reverse. One after the other by different players, and it just shows that they're not taking any risks unnecessary. They're very tidy with their tackling defensively. And I suppose when you think about it, you know, the Derwent defenders would have Jeffrey Cock, Tim Deven running at them at every single training session. So sure enough, their tackling skills are going to improve.
It's the benefit of having a quality list. Look at Tim Deven. Good work though from Leslie. Angus Bolton didn't get it past Tremaine. Cool as. Jeff Cock thumps it out of the danger zone.
Well, there are some... You sort of sense that OHA hasn't given up. There's no doubt that they're still having a bit of a go. They are creating some sort of opportunities, not quality ones, but they are creating them. They've got more of the possession inside the attacking 50, I would have thought, at this point.
Well, it almost seems like Derwent's not at all concerned about scoring at the moment. Bolton inside the circle, the ball raised.
And that's the issue. I mean, the pass into the attacking circle was just untidy.
Bent, 2001 Derwent best and fairest. Devon. Last year's competition best and fairest, and some say a multi for this season's as well. We've already heard today that Emily Lawson has won the women's. Tremaine. Cock approaches the circle, taken down. Salt a little slow to get up, but 7 minutes to go for him or so. He wants to be part of a comeback here, and it would be some sort of comeback. And they are getting vocal, that's for sure. Edwards gets it through. Wolford, well done. Can he set something up for McCambridge? Again, it's Webb. Stuart Webb. How good he's been. Perhaps he doesn't want Dad's little piece of history being rewritten. His father, Gary, as we mentioned, won a premiership in 1977 with OHA. Here he is, coming up to take the 16-yard hit.
Turnover of possession there. Simon Moore can throw the ball forward.
It's getting desperate for OHA. 5 minutes to go. Bester. Anchor. This looks okay. He's got Salt to beat, and Salt puts it out of play.
Important tackle, that one from Dylan Salt. 1 out against Paul Anchor. We know he's very good on his reverse as well. He protected himself from that drag backwards into his feet.
Shaw wanted Bester. Jeff Cock approaches the circle. Look at that magic stuff. He wanted Anchor. It falls for Tremaine, who's taken down. And up go the Derwent fans. They'll get another scoring opportunity.
Well, the breach there was the tackle has actually made contact with the body rather than the ball. Look at this right to left drag there. That is a super skill to be able to do at speed, but then also follow up with a pass. You can see Paul Anchor desperate to get to it. Nick Tremaine secures it. He knows the tackle's coming from Jake Morton. All he's done is to use his body to protect the ball and see what happens from the tackle from Jake Morton. If it's a bad one, well, then you pay your price. And unfortunately for Jake Morton, it was the body first. So another penalty corner opportunity now for Derwent.
And this time Jeffrey Cock is on the field. So a chance to score a brace. This to make a certainty of it. Tremaine lets it go. It's got some pace. Jeffrey Cox steps up, hits the woodwork. The follow-up shot was missed by Anchor. He goes on the reverse, taken to ground, cleared out of there, and it goes nicely out of there to Bolton, who releases Leslie. Can they create something on the burst? Charging forward, Leslie. Gets it inside the circle. A free hit to OHA just outside.
Well, they had to make the most of that one, OHA. They had the quick counter-attack plus the numbers.
Edwards, Ramiraj, knocked it on, and Austin comes across.
Here's the penalty corner with just power on it. And it bounces off, ricochets off the post. And as a post person, there's not much you can do when that happens.
And a penalty corner now at the other end of the field. OHA with a chance.
Well, they'll have to take it quickly. The clock's running down very quickly, and so they'll need to make sure. Here it is, the ball's in the air. It's just made a bit dangerous. I think the ball made contact with Nick Tremaine's foot. He looked a little bit perplexed about it. Not sure that he agrees. OHA have got to take a risk here.
The Derwent defence in no rush, Macca, to get back and face the music.
Well, I would have thought that the umpire might actually sort of, stop the clock, which he's doing right now. Good decision there by Stuart Belts. Lowing time.
Well, there's nothing other than a goal that will do here for OHA, and Derwent breaks off the line, so we'll do it again.
Yeah, and they'd be really disappointed with that too now, OHA, because that was a variation where the ball goes outside 5 yards. And now they've already given that signal, so Derwent will be alert to it.
And they do it again. It's Sam McCambridge. Did find the foot. Just outside the circle, though. Edwards moves it quickly. Umpire lets it go. Ramaraj hacked out of the air by Middleton. Desperation stakes for OHA. Daniel Sproul, Dylan Salt, they'll have to do it again. Sproul, Edwards, he's got to thump it in. Well done by Tremaine. He not only trapped it, he took it right out of there, possessed it. Not long to go now. Derwent surely going to be celebrating a 4th straight premiership. But it doesn't get past Leslie. The overhead was intended for Bester. Derwent wins it back. Deven, Cock, no real urgency. Nudges it on. Middleton, happy to possess it under pressure from Morton. Middleton, one of their goal scorers, gives it up in the end, but time not on the side of OHA. They will have to wait and keep waiting for that premiership, that elusive premiership that they haven't won since 1977. McCambridge, flattened, again goes in. He's really trying to make something with Deven today, and Deven, time and time again, has risen above it.
Good work from Tim Deven. I'm not sure that Tim Deven did anything real wrong there. Looks like he's going to get a yellow. All he's done is made the tackle in the end, and then there's that action from Sam McCambridge. I think it might have been that Tim Deven held Sam McCambridge's stick when he was down, and it happened pretty quickly.
It's Anchor with the yellow, and Deven's just gone over to McCambridge and told him to have a look at the scoreboard. That yellow card's not going to hurt Derwent too much. Edwards, and a penalty corner blown here, Macca.
Well, deliberate within 5 yards, and the rule is inside the attacking 25, obviously, everyone has to be 5 yards. And you'll find that he's taken the free hit quickly, and Billy Shaw was within that 5 yard area.
And it will be the last play of the day, so it's going to be Derwent, premiers. It's a question of whether the final score will be 3-1 or 3-2. OHA conferring. They're going to make them wait. 4 premierships in a row.
Well, I think there's a pretty big chance this one's just going to be an absolute drive, smash into the net.
Every OHA player lines up. Here they go. For respectability, it's Leslie, it's saved, and Derwent, premiers in 2009, premiers in 2008, 07 and 06, something no team has done since 1942. 4 flags in a row.
Well, amazing, and look at them. They're so happy with what they have achieved, and look, full credit to Derwent today in their defensive purpose and the way they defended. Amazing number of tackles that they made. They absorbed an awful lot of OHA forays into their defensive 25, and each time they had questions asked of them, they came up with the answers. And I think that really the defence, we often talk so much about the Derwent attack, and we shouldn't forget about the Derwent deep defence.
And what about the Derwent coach? He's with Angie Ockenden.
Paul, congratulations. It was a fantastic game, typical finals game, wasn't it? But great for you, first-time coach, and to come out under all the pressure of having to win a 4th premiership. Well done.
Yeah, no, it was good. I think the boys played really well, and to their credit, I think this week there was a lot of words said, and we didn't get into that. And I think the guys are really focused, and I mean, we're happy for for the ships to talk about ship timber and all this sort of stuff, but I think it's been shipwrecked, so I don't know. So I had to say that one. But no, I think the guys played really well, and to their credit, Daniel Sproul's done a great job, and I think I can't take much credit. I just more of a manager role. I think Mooney did all the hard work, and it's good that the guys got up, so I just had to get them up mentally and managed to do that.
Well, you did an excellent job, and I know that Macca and Alistair were talking about how well defensively your players played for you today. Is that something you've worked on?
Yeah, definitely. I think probably over the start of the year, I know our record says we're very good defensively, but we were a bit disappointed with some of the goals, especially even the one they scored today. That's what our main focus was. They were going to hit into the circle. We knew today defence was going to win the game, and I think Fitzy played an amazing game, and Billy and Webby were rocks. And the fact that Webby's on one knee with a couple of injections before the game, I think that just shows, to his credit, what a soldier he is. And yeah, really happy, really happy.
Well, it was a really good effort, and you've been the team to beat all year. Congratulations, 4th time.
Yeah.
Maybe we might see someone different next year. Next year, same?
Oh, yeah, let's hope so. And we've got these young guys coming on, so the old guys need a rest here and there, so they'll be pushing. So hopefully we'll go for another one, but let's not get greedy, but we'll be there, hopefully.
Well done, Paul. Well deserved.
Cheers, thanks.
First year as coach, not a bad effort, Macca.
Well, isn't it fantastic to see that he can do such a good job as a coach? And it would be a real challenge motivating all these different personalities and these experienced players. But to win a premiership, isn't it fantastic? Plus, he made it, a big play in the game. He was strong on his skills, and to combine both, fantastic result.
It's hard to see where this run's going to end, really, because if you look through the Derwent list, it's not like they're ageing old fossils. Greg Bent is getting on a little, but apart from that, a lot of the talent that lies within the team is in the pretty young age bracket.
Well, I think we just heard Paul Anker say that they've got really experienced players, but they've also got a lot of youth as well, and I think all goes very well for them for the future years. And here we see them celebrating, and no doubt they'll probably celebrating well into the night.
4 premierships in a row for Derwent. They are getting used to this. It's been a wonderful 4 years for them, and they have denied OHA their first premiership since 1977. It was the grand final that people probably wanted to see this season because OHA had challenged Derwent on a couple of occasions, but in the end, Derwent's class shone through.
Well, I think that most people would have come here today predicting that Derwent were going to be the premiers, and I think today they showed why. Well done to Daniel Sproul to get OHA into the grand final. I'm sure that he'll get something from today's final from the point of view of some of the young players coming through, but ultimately, Derwent just too good.
Now, the stats at half-time were pretty lopsided in favour of Derwent. In the end, they weren't so lopsided. Possession-wise, it was still 55% to 45. But look at the penetrations, 28 to 20. So OHA kept on pressing. I think Derwent went a little bit more defensive than usual in the second half. The penalty corners, in the end, they weren't able to convert from one, OHA.
No, and as I've said, I thought today the defensive work by Derwent was absolutely instrumental in them winning the grand final today. And all of the players, be it Webb, and there we see the celebrations right at the end, and Nick Tremaine, the number of tackles he made, the number of tackles that Stuart Webb made, Alistair Addison, and go on. They just when they were asked questions, they had the answers. So well done.
So we've seen 2 champion teams decided here at the Tasmanian Hockey Centre this afternoon, and we've seen a bit of history as well. In the women's competition, Northwest graduates premiers for the first time since 1993. Ali Shearman, she'll be bought a few drinks tonight, Macca, with a 70th minute winner there. And then in the men's grand final, Derwent with a comprehensive win over OHA 3-1. The first team since 1942 to win 4 flags in a row. It's been a wonderful day. It's been a beautiful day in the sunshine. All the fans have enjoyed it here at the Hockey Centre. We've enjoyed it. It's been a great day, Macca. Thanks for the season, and we hope you can join us next year. Thanks for your company.